In the second episode, we want to take a look at the design of a new airplane. In the last episode, we talked about the demand of a new aircraft, so we have to design our aircraft after the requires. There are many different aircraft designs. Mostly, they are given by the shape and number of the wings. So, important to know are low wing and shorter wing concepts. But there are also delta wing concepts for higher speeds like the Concorde. We also need to think about the length and narrow of the wing, resulting in an aspect ratio. The longer and narrower a wing is, the higher the aspect ratio. That's not all. The wing sweep is also a big component. For example, the Wright Flyer had it straight, but modern aircrafts are mostly swept. Some other attachments, like the winglets at the end of the wing or vortex generators, shouldn't be forgotten. Also, the position of the flaps and slats play a big role of the aerodynamics of the plane, mainly in takeoff and landing phase. Then we have to take a look at the use of the aircraft. Should it be small and for short-haul flights, so-called regional jets like the Canada jets, or big and for ultra-long-haul flights like the Boeing 747-8? It can be also a something completely different aircraft, like an amphibious plane or a vertical takeoff and landing airplane, also called VTOL plane. We must consider the size of the fuel tanks and the number of passengers who should be sitting there and in which seat configurations. When we talk about this topic, we should talk about the number of engines at the plane. Most of the aircrafts today fly with 2, but former aircraft often had 3 or 4 engines. There are regulations for all, and also the size of an aircraft at the ground, to estimate the ground cost at an airport terminal. These are divided into groups. For example, the Cessna 172 is in Group 1, the Airbus A320 is in Group 3, and the Boeing 747-8 is in Group 6. The new Boeing 777-9 has a wingspan of 71 meters, which should be Group 6, but the wingtips can be folded, which allow the plane to fit in Group 5, saving lots of money from airport ground costs. There are also categories for the weight, from A, which means heavy, with a weight of over 115 tons, to F, which describes small jets with a weight below 5 tons. Another are the wake turbulences, low, medium, heavy and super, but this category is only for the Airbus A380. The next aspect is that we have to mention the ecological aspect. Every airplane manufacturer wants his new plane ecologically better than their predecessors or competitors. Logically, the engines are the main contributors to carbon dioxide emissions in daily operations. Probably you have noticed that newer engines are bigger than older. For example, the A320neo's LEAP 1A engines have a fan diameter of 1.98 meters, but on the other side have the International Aero engines V2500A5 only 1.6 meters of a fan diameter. This is mainly caused by the bypass ratio, which describes the ratio of air between the one in the combustion turbine and the other around the gas turbine, but still in the turbofan only going through. The larger the bypass ratio, the less fuel is burned and the more efficient an engine is. The safety of an airplane is also a big point. The manufacturer must think about the exit limit, which describes the maximum amount of passengers who must evacuate the airplane in under 19 seconds. So there must be the right number of doors in the right place, but also other things like workarounds or checklists which the pilots must follow. By this design process is the use of VR state of the art. With special virtual reality headsets can designers take a look in the future cabin, or engineers take a better look at e.g. the wing construction. At the computer can many things like the wake turbulences or structural design of various components made with simulations. But not everything can be done in virtual reality or at the computer. This is why special mock-ups being built or smaller models of the future model will be tested in the wind channel, a special room with a big fan to see their imperfections in the aerodynamics. We've only talked about the new clean sheet design, but what about using an already present fuselage, which can be significantly cheaper because we can drop the first steps. Many aircraft designs will be stretched or shortened over production time, like the A320 and the stretched version the A321. Old aircraft designs can also be re-engined, like the new A321neo or new engine option. The Embraer E2 jet family, which had its first flight in 2002, was the smallest version, the E170. All four versions are running by the General Electric CF34, but the new 190 E2 and the 195 E2 are powered by the Pratt & Whitney PW1990G and had its first flight in 2016. Also, the wing is a new construction. So, a new clean sheet design is very expensive because you have to pay a lot of attention and it takes a long time. But further development is much faster and cheaper. In the next episode, we will take a look at the announcement and the first orders of a new plane. So, stay tuned.